Good afternoon, Miss Higgins, Miss Elena. This is Latrina Jones, and this is my submission for the Module 8 assignment. I apologize for the lateness. I have not been feeling well, but also this assignment was very difficult for me to complete. I wanted to turn in something and show you that I did not try. It's just it was very difficult for me. Um, I am submitting it in video form. I have rough drafts of trying to continue to write this paper. However, I became very frustrated with trying to articulate and get things on paper, how the essay was supposed to be written. But I also wanted to do it this way to let you know that I did um, view the information. I did read the assignment. I did try my best to write out the essay that you wanted me to do. However, this was the best way I could get to relay the information that I needed to relay to you, um, and not just not do the assignment. Um, the video reflection of watching the FAT City workshop with Mr. Richard LeVay Laveau was eye-opening and very um, emotional for me because it was like reliving my whole educational childhood. Um, Not only that, um, reliving my educational experiences even now as an adult, trying to be able to work with people and continue my education with my disabilities. A lot of the factors that he pointed out, the frustration, the anxiety, the tension that I deal with on a daily basis, just talking to people, just reading and trying to decipher information and responding appropriately when a lot of times I don't um, respond in a timely fashion, or um, I don't respond like people want or assume that I should. Um, I know that this workshop and Mr. Laveau going around and doing workshops like this is really crucial and educational and necessary for educators, for professionals in any capacity to be able to be placed in um, the circumstance of a person with a learning disability. The film was very true to form in that most people, most children um, with disability, learning disabilities, are um, very frustrated because we can learn. We take a longer time to process information, and you do feel dumb a lot of times because you know that you have that information there. You want to answer the question, you want to raise your hand, but you really, it's a struggle. It is a struggle. And giving a child the extra time that um, Richard talked about, and giving a child a sense of participation by allowing that child to answer a question before anyone in the classroom, or not calling on that child um, because you know that that child is struggling, is a huge help in any situation with someone with a disability. One of the major concepts I learned about children with learning disabilities, or about teachers or educators knowing about learning disabilities, is they honestly don't realize that they are belittling or traumatizing that child, because they're educators and they're used to um, teaching the curriculum that they're supposed to teach, and not really having to think about, oh, this child may be having difficulties, or this child may not get it. Um, a lot of times, I just thought people were being cruel because they didn't understand. And this film really opened my eyes to a lot of things. I was not going to continue to try to get my um, degree because I struggled so dearly with these first two classes. Just made me think that maybe, I was pushing myself too much, and I couldn't accomplish this because it was just too much. But I know that if I ask for help and I explain um, my disabilities, and I continue to push myself to learn and to gather the information and try to articulate the information, um, um, to allow people to understand that I can learn. I do know what's going on. I can um, give the points um, about the information that's being learned, about the standards that's being taught, about the practices that we must have in order to teach. And the different keys and points that need to be um, talked about, and based upon the information that we learn. So I am going to push forward in trying to get my bachelor's degree, because I really want a bachelor's degree. And I think that doing it in early daycare, in early child care education, is really going to be informative and help me to better develop more in life with dealing with others and my anxiety. Um, one of some of the common mistakes that teachers sometimes make when working with children with special needs are repetitive questioning, and not giving that child enough time to answer, or um, ripping the papers up in front of a child, in front of the class. That's a demeaning, the child. And I don't think that they're trying to. I think that it's a tactic that is used to try to force that child to think, and to teach that child in a way. But that's not an appropriate way to teach a child with a learning disability. There are a lot of disabilities in early childhood education, but the three most common are learning disabilities, auditory um, disabilities, motor skill disability, cognitive disability, reading disabilities, dyslexia, um, ADHD, ADD. These are all common um, early childhood disabilities, and characteristics that you have to work with. Um, there are a lot of challenges that children with special needs face in the classroom, and um, academically and socially. When you are a child with a disability or special need, there's often frustration, anxiety, and tension. We're constantly one step behind in a lot of things that you try to do in a classroom situation because, again, you don't process the information um, right away. And you're trying to, it's sometimes hard to let go of something that you know that you have or you can explain, but you just don't know how to do it, or you have a hard time doing that. And then you get withdrawn because you don't want to be made fun of. You want to participate, but sometimes that's a difficult thing in itself. And you have to find ways to continue to um, want to participate, especially when you're made fun of, when you can't um, answer in a appropriate manner, um, or um, there is a bias that maybe because of your disability you can't learn. When you're dealing with academics and you have a special need or a disability, um, it may be emotional, it may be physical, it may be um, developmental, and academically, when you're dealing with something like dyslexia, where you're looking at the information that you're being given to read, the comprehension is not there right away. The understanding is not there right away. You may be able to read out loud for something, or you may even read something completely backwards. And of course, because your mind works in a different way. And so academically, my grades were horrible in high school, in elementary school, in grade school, in high school. It wasn't until college that one of my professors really pointed out, okay, he understood that I had these disabilities, and I needed a little extra time, and I needed a little bit more explanation. Um, I needed to do things orally instead of maybe writing them down, or writing them down instead of orally, because I can't do both at the same time. It's very difficult. Um, then you work on, uh, you miss in then you work on cues that you're supposed to be able to, or stages you're supposed to be able to articulate certain information that you're getting, and sometimes it's hard to express that you do understand that and stay on task and not veer off um, when you're talking about a specific subject. Socially, you miss cues. Sometimes when someone says something relating to a certain subject matter, you don't understand what they're talking about. You don't get what they're talking about. Um, I think one of the reasons I've had such a difficult time with these courses is because they are um, descriptive writing courses versus being multiple choice questions, reading information, deciphering it, and then answering, having a multiple choice, having an answer to look over and say, okay, this is the best one. That's how I learn. But having to um, actually type up an APA formatted um, detailed paper is something that is very difficult um, for me and my particular disability. Um, Dealing with social cues, knowing when to answer, knowing what's appropriate, not getting frustrated if you don't understand, or knowing that it's okay to say, I didn't understand that. Can you repeat that? Or asking for help um, without feeling humiliated is a lot of things that children go through. There are certain things children with disabilities, like some disabilities, in order to deal with the anxiety, the frustration, and the stress of not being able to relay information or retain information or participate in certain things. Some children rock. Some children can't sit still in their seat long enough to, do things. And it's not that they're trying to be bad or they're trying to act out. It's that they literally can't do it. And I think this teaches us that we have to recognize when a child is struggling, especially a child with special needs and disabilities. The teachers that go into um, education, and now we have the inclusive settings, so they're being challenged more and more to include children with disabilities in their curriculums and in their teaching practices. It is crucial that teachers get the workshops, go to the seminars, go to the continual education courses that are provided for them so that they can learn how to deal with having to rearrange their lesson plans and their practices and understanding what they need to do to incorporate children with mental illnesses or children with special needs or children with learning disabilities. Um, Learning how to rely on um, the assistance that comes with having children with disability in the classroom. Like if there's a speech therapist or if there's a counselor or there's a coach that's rely on that person. Try to come collaborate with um, everything that would help you to continue to teach your curriculum, but also improve the quality of education that a child with developmental needs have and needs to have. There are so many research papers written. There is so much information on the internet and about development, about teaching skills, far as teaching children with special needs, far as the text that we have. There is so much information to gather. Um, and this course also has a lot of information. Learning the um, standards um, to help with children with disability is really important and really crucial. It may seem like a lot of reading, it may seem like a lot of work, but in the end, if this is the field that you choose, you want to take advantage of those workshops, take advantage of those um, newsletters, take advantage of those um, different paraprofessionals that are available to you, because that's going to make you a better educator, but it also helps you to not have someone left behind because you don't know how to deal with a certain disability. I I will submit a paper form of um, this video for you, Miss Elaine. And again, I thank you for being my instructor and encouraging me and taking the time to get to know me and allow me to try to pursue my education. Thank you.